Hello and welcome to Brewers Daily, part of the Fan Arch Podcast Network. This episode is brought to you by Kalshi. Use promo code FANARCHBASEBALL to get $10 when you trade 10. I'm Dave Gasper. Lots to get to here on a Monday show. A lot happened over the weekend here as the Brewers swept the Colorado Rockies. We will get into that here. We will get into what happened in the bullpen because a lot happened out there that we got to break down and kind of get a really strong sense of where things are at there. The Brewers made a trade as well. We are in trade season, although it's maybe not your typical kind of deadline move, but the Brewers did make a trade in June, so we will get into that as well and look ahead to this upcoming series against the Athletics. But first, let's break down what happened in Colorado. The Brewers swept the Rockies, and it was some pretty great fashion that they were able to do it in, especially at the end of the series. On Friday, that game was looking pretty rough. The Brewers had one hit through 8 innings, and they were down 3-1 heading into the 9th inning. And in typical Coors fashion, that game ended up a 9-7 final score with the Brewers coming out on top, putting up runs in the 9th inning. Then it going to extras, putting up more runs there. Really just an insane turn that you see quite a bit. It wasn't really the ball flying out of the ballpark as much there on Friday, but still, the Brewers able to mount a comeback there, get the victory, and then Saturday, Jacob Misiorowski was electric once again, hitting 103.7 on the fastball, fastest pitch ever recorded by a starter, surpassing his own record. He just keeps breaking his own records every single time he goes out there, and he just kind of lights things up. Also, may have hit a guy in the head, but he's doing fine. Tyler Freeman's, he had to exit the game, but overall, appears he's going to end up being fine. Hit him right in the helmet, at least, so that's why we wear those. But, Jacob Misiorowski, what more can you say about this dude? You kind of figured his stuff would be dominant at Coors. Just with the velo he has, he's not going to be as affected as perhaps some of these other guys. But still, working late in the game, gives up a base hit, got some runners on, and you're thinking, okay, this could be the time where Pat Murphy goes to the bullpen, and Misiorowski stares him down. He's telling William Contreras, he's like, no. He's shaking his head. He's like, no, you're not taking me out. I've got this. Pat Murphy's like, you got this? He's like, I got this. So he's like, okay. And Hudson goes out there, punchy. Gets 2 punch outs to finish the inning. You get all, fired up as Misiorowski does, which is what makes him so lovable by everyone. But he gets through that inning and just choke. We are seeing Misiorowski grow up before our very eyes. We are seeing him develop into not only an ace, but a bulldog out there on the mound too. He kind of looks like a golden retriever, more so, just kind of with like all the antics and how happy he gets, and how kind of quirky and dorky sometimes he may look. But he may seem more like a golden retriever there, but it's a bulldog mentality, 100% that he has on the mound, and we are seeing him really develop into one of those true number one aces before our very eyes. The talent has always been there, yes, but to see it actually come forward, like Brandon Woodruff had that bulldog mentality. Corbin Burns had that bulldog mentality. Jacob Misiorowski has that exact same thing, and his fastball is just so much more electric than anything else anyone has ever seen before in Major League Baseball, and he is here on the Milwaukee Brewers, and it's an event every single time he pitches, and it's so much fun to watch, and to see him be able to do this, to be pitching deeper into games, to maintain that control, to maintain that velocity, and to have the mindset of telling his manager, no, you stay in the dugout, I've got this. That's what you see from Max Scherzers of the world and Justin Verlanders, who, Scherzer, he got the Mad Max nickname. He earned it. And he earned it for a reason. And Misiorowski is kind of having, he almost had like a little Mad Miz moment there, but it was beautiful. It was great. And he gets out of it and does a fantastic job. The Brewers end up winning pretty handily there on Saturday, and then on Sunday as well, the Bats. On Saturday you had 5 home runs. You had Bryce Terang homer twice, David Hamilton showing some pop. Love to see that. He goes yard to center field. Contreras gets one over the fence. Happy to see that for him. So then again, it is also Coors. There's going to be balls hit over the fence that may not be hit over the fence other places, just with how the ball carries. But great to see for Terang, great to see for Hamilton, for Contreras, for all those guys, to see the home runs come through. And then on Sunday as well, you get some more pop, in there. Gary Sanchez gets his first home run in a long time. It had been nearly 2 months for him since his last home run. He's able to get one out. The offense explodes for 12 runs. Garrett Mitchell has 3 straight extra base hits in the game. So the Brewers just kind of kept piling on Kyle Freeland and that Rockies pitching staff, and just kind of taking advantage of the thin air up there. But and that was all in support of Shane Drowan. Also, Shane Drowan goes 6 1/3. He went back out there for the 7th. He had previously not gone more than 4 innings in any of his outings, and the Brewers sent him back out there for the 7th. His pitch count was in really good shape. Was pitching really well. Gave up an infield single. Wasn't able to get the underhand flip to first in time. Should have gone overhand, but either way, then Pat Murphy goes to the bullpen. But Shane Drowan looked absolutely fantastic as well. The Brewers are getting an absolute steal here out of this Caleb Durbin trade. What David Hamilton has turned into is largely the regular shortstop over the past week or so here. He's been getting the bulk of the playing time. He's seeing some power come around. Shane Drowan is turning into a really, really solid piece here, and maybe even a more of a fixture in the starting rotation rather than the bullpen. And then, of course, there's Kyle Harrison, who has been a fixture in the rotation and has been absolutely fantastic. That is just one of the most lopsided trades of this past offseason. Just incredible, especially with what Drowan is now turning himself into. So you love to see that. And the Brewers end up getting the win, getting the sweep. The first time they've swept the Rockies in Colorado in about 12 years. 2014 was the last time that they ended up doing that. So it's amazing how much things have kind of changed and how things have gone. You look at the history against Colorado, the struggles that the Brewers have occasionally had there. A lot of teams have there, even though the Rockies have been bad largely over the past several years. But that gets the Brewers to 40 wins, and we are 63 games into the season. 40 wins in their first 63 is a franchise record. The previous record for the Brewers to get to 40 wins was 67 games, which, they beat it by 4 games. 4 games, and coming into the season, so many were just like, they traded Freddie, they traded Durbin, and I'm not sure this team really got any better. And sure enough, this team has gotten better. Are there still holes to fix? Yes. But you look at the record, you are what your record says you are. And their record says that they are a 40-win team 63 games in. They are one of the top teams to be feared in this league, just as this regular season has gone on. They've got a dynamic 1-2 punch atop the rotation. Once again, their lineup is starting to come together a little bit here with some good pieces. The bullpen has some really, really good arms, even though they've been going through quite a few changes. But they're still going to be right there in all of this. But speaking of the bullpen, we gotta talk about this because, oh my, there was a lot that ended up happening for this bullpen. So when we last talked on Friday's show, we had the potential injuries there to DL Hall and Grant Anderson as they left Thursday's game. And we didn't really know at the time what the Brewers were going to be doing with both those guys. I thought Anderson had a good chance of avoiding the IL if things went well in his catch play on Friday. Sure enough, he avoided the IL. Grant Anderson is healthy, but DL Hall, as expected, landed on the IL with a pec injury. So Hall goes on the IL, and the Brewers call up Brian Fitzpatrick in order to backfill the left-hander that they need. Jake Woodford got designated for assignment as well. I know that there was a lot of concern amongst the fans about Woodford and his lack of production. So the Brewers do end up sending out Woodford after his poor outing on Thursday and then also they call up Craig Yoho to take Woodford's spot. So, we were kind of talking about Yoho there as a potential for Grant Anderson, but Yoho ends up coming up anyways for Jake Woodford. So you get Yoho and Fitzpatrick that come up for this series. Fitzpatrick gets called in for his first game since coming back up, and during warm-ups, you could see it immediately. The elbow popped for Brian Fitzpatrick. He instantly, he bent over in pain. He knew it. The training staff came over. They pulled him out of the game. They were holding his arm gently there. You could see the pain in his face. He said he felt a pop in his elbow, and that is going to be it for a while for Brian Fitzpatrick. You just feel so horrible for him. This kid has worked so hard to get to this point. Made his major league debut a few weeks ago. He gets the call up and he does really well in his opportunity. Goes back down for a little bit, comes back up for a second stint, and before that second stint can really even get going, the elbow pops on a warm-up pitch. You hate to see it for the poor guy. And they haven't decided on surgery yet. Apparently, rehab is still potentially an option. The fact that he said he felt a pop makes me, the non-medically trained layman here, to think surgery is the most likely outcome for this. But either way, it is going to be a long time before we see Brian Fitzpatrick on the mound again. You just feel for him and hope he can just come back on the mend, better and stronger than he was before. So, prayers up to him and that he ends up, coming out on the other side of this pretty well, because it's going to be a long recovery for Fitzpatrick. So Fitzpatrick goes on the IL, and he was your other lefty on the 40-man roster, so it's like, okay, well, now where do you go? Drew Rom ends up getting the call-up for the Brewers. He was a lefty down in AAA Nashville, non-roster invite this spring. Had been doing pretty well, had a low threes ERA for AAA Nashville as a reliever. So he gets called up. He makes his Brewers debut over the weekend here in Colorado as well. So Rom is up. Craig Yoho is up. Jake Woodford is out. DL Hall is on the IL. And Grant Anderson is healthy and still able to pitch. So that's kind of the roundup here of what happened with the bullpen over the weekend. There was a lot that went on over there. But still, there's a lot more changes to become. We'll get into that as well. But first, on Kalshi, you can trade every single game, and we are looking ahead here to this Brewers Athletics series because it's another opportunity because the Brewers are in Vegas. It makes you think of how can I win some money on this when the Brewers are playing in Las Vegas there. That's right. The Athletics are moving to moving from Oakland to Las Vegas eventually by way of Sacramento. They need the stadium to get built first, so they're going to be playing out in the minor league Las Vegas team's stadium for a couple of days. But the Brewers will be out there. Kyle Harrison is going to be on the bump for this game. And Kyle Harrison at 8+ strikeouts in this game here tonight is trading at 36% on Kalshi, and I'm feeling pretty good about Kyle Harrison's chances to do that. So, with Harrison trading at 36% to get 8+ strikeouts, that means a $100 trade pays out $278 with a win. On Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house. And as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use promo code FANARCHBASEBALL to get $10 when you trade 10, Kalshi, Kalshi, trade on anything. All right, the Brewers have made a trade. That's right, it's trade season. Get excited. It's maybe not that much exciting. Joel Kuhnel comes over to the Brewers from the Athletics, and the Brewers got him for cash considerations, so they didn't really give up anything in return. Kuhnel had been designated for assignment by the Athletics previously. The Brewers wanted him, and they brought him in for cash. Quinn Priester gets moved to the 60-day IL, which you kind of knew would be happening at some point. to clear the 40-man spot. And then Kunal, I would imagine, would report to the team here when they get to Las Vegas, because he was already with the Athletics anyways. So now they're just going to be facing him here. So he's probably just going to be traveling, along with to Las Vegas, and the Brewers will just kind of pick him up there, and he'll just go in the visiting clubhouse rather than the home clubhouse. Is basically what it's going to end up being. But Kunal is, I'm going to give him this nickname right away, New Jake Woodford, because that's basically what he is. He is new Jake Woodford. Woodford, the mop-up guy, gets DFA'd because he had not been performing well. And now the Brewers get in Kunal, and he is most likely going to be their next mop-up guy in this bullpen. With the guys that they have, with the personnel that they have, Kunal's most likely fit is as the mop-up guy. Had a 4.21 ERA with the A's this season prior to getting designated for assignment. In his last outing, he kind of went through the struggle bus there, which is why he got DFA'd in all likelihood here. But Joel Kunal, he gave up 4 runs there in his last outing. But he was with the Brewers previously in 2024, not on the big league club. He was in the minor leagues with AAA Nashville, so the Brewers kind of knew him a little bit from there, made a couple of appearances for AAA. He played with 4 organizations that year, made it to the big leagues with a couple of them, but he's kind of bounced around, been a journeyman reliever type, mop-up type guy. So Kunal comes in. He's going to be joining this bullpen group here in Las Vegas, and he's going to be the new mop-up guy. Will he be better than Jake Woodford? Maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. I mean, he did have actually like a pretty good ERA. I mean, he was finishing some games. He got a handful of saves with the Athletics this season, and he had about a 3-something ERA prior to his previous outing, which jumped his ERA up over 4. But still, Kunal is joining this Brewers bullpen as we have an early trade here in June. No, it's not Tarek Skubal. I'm also still not going to be holding my breath for Tarek Skubal anyways. But still a lot of time to go, and the Brewers making a trade here to help fill out this bullpen because, as we just talked about, that bullpen group is beat up with the injuries and things that ended up happening there over the weekend. So they make the changes there, and he's going to be joining the team for this series because the Brewers are taking on the Athletics in Las Vegas. So the Brewers are not going to Sacramento. This is part of a series. There's a handful of these this year where the Athletics are actually going to be playing in Las Vegas to try and kind of build up a local fan base down there where they're going to be playing while their stadium is under construction in downtown Las Vegas, down on the Strip. So they're going to be out playing where the Las Vegas, I believe, Aviators stadium is. They've been the 51s, the Aviators, like they've changed names a couple of times. But they're going to be out where that stadium is. Pretty high elevation, pretty hot, out in the desert. No roof on this stadium. But so there's going to be some challenges there. But the Brewers are going to be in Las Vegas for this series as the Athletics, who are not Oakland, who are not Sacramento, who are not yet Las Vegas, but will be in Las Vegas for this series. So Kyle Harrison, as we talked about, is going to be on the mound tonight for the Brewers. And very excited to see Kyle Harrison pitch as I kind of give him this extra day here of rest. But Harrison, the lefty for the Crew, and Jeffrey Springs, another left-hander on the mound for the Athletics. Springs, a 4.37 ERA this season. So a matchup of lefties. This game's going to be starting at 9 o'clock tonight, so it's going to be a late one here. So we got kind of a ways to go until that one comes through. And then on Tuesday, Robert Gasser is on the mound. JT Ginn is going to be the scheduled starter for the A's. A 2.74 ERA for Ginn, the right-hander for them. And then on Wednesday, the finale of this series, the A's will have Jack Perkins and his 6.19 ERA on the mound. And the Brewers will have the ever-popular TBD. So that is what we're going to be kind of waiting on the Brewers to announce there. If everything kind of holds with the rotation schedule, that should be Brandon Sproat. But we'll see ultimately what they end up doing. If they want to kind of change things around and Who knows? But it's currently listed as a TBD. But that would be Brandon Sproat's regularly scheduled spot to start. So, going to be a fun series here for the Brewers against the Athletics. See if they can keep their winning ways going because they've been doing such a great job of that so far. 40 wins in their first 63 games. The wins just keep coming, and you absolutely love to see it. So we'll get more into this series as it goes along every single day on Brewers Daily, so be sure to subscribe if you haven't already and get notified every single time a new episode drops. Also, follow me on Twitter at dgasper24. Appreciate all of you watching and listening, and we'll see you again next time for another episode of Brewers Daily.